Hello, today we're going to build a 2-button foot switch for the Line 6 HX Stomp to provide foot switch 4 and 5 functions for the HX Stomp unit. This is a very simple project. If you're trying to pinch pennies or just want to have some fun on a Saturday morning, this is a great thing to try. The parts I'm going to use are available at Love My Switches. Lawrence at Love My Switches does a great job of having stock for all these kinds of projects. Several sizes of enclosures, all types of foot switches, jacks, wires, LEDs. I suggest you give them a check out. Their prices are great and their service is even better. Family business. I love the guys at lovemyswitches.com. So make sure that if you do want to undertake this project, this is where you go to get your stuff. I'm not being sponsored. I didn't receive any freebies from him. I just want to make sure that you know the best place that I've found to get supplies for these kinds of projects. The supplies you're going to need to start with an enclosure. I'm going to link to the specific ones in the description. The enclosure is going to come with a base plate and 4 screws. You're going to need a stereo 1/4-inch jack. That's the type that's got a center lug and 2 outside lugs. It includes a washer and a nut. And you're going to need 2 momentary foot switches. These are the pre-wired versions. They also come without wires that you would have to solder yourself, which is fairly easy. They do include 2 nuts and 1 split washer. And you'll see these listed as normally open or normally closed. Either version will work for this project. I've tried them both with the HX Stomp and they both work. You just need to make sure that these are momentary switches. Some of the tools you're going to need for the project. You'll need a screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver to attach the base plate. You'll need a wire cutter and stripper. And you'll need a drill bit. A pretty small drill bit. It's not specific how small it needs to be. You'll need a step bit. These will be for your whatever rechargeable or hand drill that you've got. I've got a very old Ryobi 18 volt. Just make sure it's fully charged. And you'll need a soldering gun. It doesn't have to be this old, but anything that can solder. Mine's a 40 watt. It goes pretty quick. And you'll need some lead-free solder. The type that says electrical is great. Those are the only things you actually need to get this project done. Let's go ahead and see what it takes to get it done. First step you're going to do is you're going to want to mark and drill your enclosure. That's what I use the regular drill bit for. I actually use a little steel ruler to try to get the holes pretty lined up. I measure to make sure that these distances are all the same. These distances are the same. And then I mark with a pencil and then just drill those holes with this small drill bit. If you've never drilled in aluminum before, the tip is to use firm pressure and a slow speed. And don't do it at your wife, girlfriend, mom's dining room table because shards of aluminum will get everywhere. The next step you want to do is with your step bit in your drill, you want to widen those holes to the right size. The first time you do it on the front for these foot switches, you're going to think that that's huge. But as you can see, that's the right size. I'm just going in backwards. It doesn't really give a lot of play. Then you widen that. The reason you want to use a step bit instead of like a spade bit or a large one is it just does a really good job of getting nice, clean, finished holes in the aluminum. And it's really quick to work with. But again, you'll get little flakes. You'll see kind of debris all over my work mat. That's from this. I need to get my air compressor out and clean up my workspace. Once you've got your enclosure drilled, you can take your foot switches and you can shorten those leads or those wires. Doesn't really matter how long they are, but you want to give yourself 2 to 3 inches to work with. You want to cut them short and then strip the ends of them. And then you can also go ahead and remove the parts. You're going to end up removing the this, I think it's called a dress nut, this finishing nut, and you'll remove this split washer. You want to leave this one intact and probably go ahead and twist it all the way down. That can kind of determine the depth or how high this plunger sits over the enclosure, but I find it best to just start with it just snug down. After you've gotten these leads cut, stripped, you've removed your washers, then you can start to solder. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to solder one lead from each foot switch to that center lug, and then one lead from the other lead from one foot switch to this, and the other lead from the second foot switch to this. It doesn't really matter which one goes where. You'll figure it out. But remember, you're going to have one from each foot switch to the center, and then the second lead is going to go here, second lead is going to go here. So your first step, you're going to end up with 2 foot switches. And you'll see I've got one wire from each, and they're both going to that center lug, and I hit it with a little bit of solder to keep it in place. Then I've got this one end that's going to go here, and this one end that's going to go here. And that's what it looks like once you get it all wired up. You've got one from each, and then this lead goes to that outside lug, this lead goes to that outside lug, and then you're ready to put this together. All you need to do is you can put it in any order. You're going to have to kind of fiddle with the wires a little bit just to make sure it gets in there. And then take the washer for your jack, and the nut. Give it a little twist. It's really hard to do this when you're watching yourself through a phone camera. And then you're going to take that split washer for each of these. And then those finish nuts. These don't have to be super tight. I would recommend as you're getting them a little bit tighter that you kind of hold on to the unit in the back. Hold these so they don't twist while you're twisting. If I let go, you'll see I'm twisting it from the outside. That just gives you a little bit of purchase. And then the only step left is your back plate. Apply your 4 screws, just like we've got here. Here's what it looks like on the inside. You've got 2 foot switches going to the jack. You're going to have foot switch 4, foot switch 5 as soon as you connect your tip ring sleeve patch cable to your HX Stomp. And I appreciate you sticking with me through this video. I'm not a very good YouTube video maker, but I know that this is going to be helpful information for somebody. This bare aluminum enclosure version of this, I'd like to give away to one of my commenters. So go ahead and feel free to leave a comment, maybe ask a question about something or any other tips or tricks about the HX Stomp that you'd like to have answered. And once my video gets to 50 likes, 50, if I can get 50 people to like the video, then one of my commenters that thinks they need this, I will drop it in the U.S. Postal Service, first class mail to you as soon as I can. I'm going to go ahead and build a few more of these, have them on Reverb. I'll have a link to that if I can. I'm going to try to price them lower than that Chinese version that everybody else recommends. It's a little nicer without the lettering on it. Probably have one more aluminum one. But this one right here in my hands is ready to go, and it's going to be free to somebody as soon as I get to 50 likes. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.